Have you ever noticed how sometimes the harder you try to achieve something, the more elusive it becomes? It's a curious phenomenon, isn't it? This is where the concept known as the law of reversed effort comes into play. This principle suggests that sometimes the more we strive for something, the further it slips away from our grasp. Quite the paradox, right? It seems to contradict the age-old belief that hard work always pays off. Now let's take a moment to consider some everyday examples. Ever tried to force yourself to fall asleep only to find yourself wide awake? Or attempted to recall someone's name, but the harder you tried, the more it seemed to slip away? In these scenarios, it's almost as if our efforts have the opposite effect of what we intend. Doesn't it seem counterintuitive? That's the law of reversed effort for you. So, what exactly is this law of reversed effort, I hear you ask? Well, let's dive into it. The law of reversed effort, also known as the backwards law or paradox of effort, is a principle that states the harder we try to do something, the less likely we are to succeed. It's a concept that might sound counterintuitive at first, but it's been around for quite some time. This law's roots trace back to the works of Aldous Huxley, a renowned English writer and philosopher. Huxley translated this concept into an easily digestible idea. The more desperately we try to be free and happy, the more enslaved and unhappy we become. It's a paradoxical truth that challenges our conventional understanding of effort and achievement. To help you grasp this concept, let's use an analogy. Imagine learning to swim or ride a bike. At the beginning, you might feel the urge to exert maximum effort, to actively control every movement. But here's the catch. The more you try to control, the more you struggle. It's only when you relax and let the natural process take over that you finally manage to stay afloat or keep your balance. It's a delicate balance between effort and surrender. This law isn't suggesting that effort is always counterproductive, no, not at all. It's about understanding that there's a point where increased effort can become self-defeating. It's about realizing that sometimes less is more. It's about learning to let go when holding on becomes too much. And this is where the law of reversed effort becomes a game changer. It challenges us to rethink our approach to life. It nudges us towards a path where we learn to balance our efforts and our surrender, our control and our acceptance. Now you may wonder, how does this law apply to our day-to-day lives? How can we harness its power? Well, hold on to your seats, because we're about to dive into that next. But before we move on, remember this. It's like trying to hold on to water. The tighter you grasp, the faster it slips away. So, let's learn to loosen our grip and let life flow. Why does trying harder sometimes lead to failure? It's a question that has left many of us perplexed. The answer lies in understanding the psychological aspects behind the law of reversed effort. We've all experienced it. The harder we try to fall asleep, the more awake we feel. The more we attempt to remember a forgotten name, the further it seems to recede into the recesses of our mind. This is the paradox of trying. At the heart of this paradox is the role of stress, anxiety, and overthinking. When we exert too much conscious effort into a task, we end up creating unnecessary stress and anxiety. This, in turn, disrupts our cognitive functions and hinders our performance. Think about a time when you had to speak in front of a crowd. The more you focused on not forgetting your lines, the harder it became to remember them. This is because the stress and anxiety of trying not to forget actually interfered with your memory retrieval process. Now let's delve deeper into the role of our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is like an iceberg. The visible part above the water represents our conscious mind, while the vast portion beneath the surface is our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is a powerhouse of potential, controlling a large part of our actions, decisions, and emotions. However, the subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives. When you tell yourself, "I must not forget my lines," your subconscious mind hears, "Forget my lines," and acts accordingly. This is why the harder we try not to do something, the more likely we are to do it. The law of reversed effort is a constant reminder of the power of our subconscious mind and the effects of stress and anxiety. It teaches us that sometimes less is more. Sometimes letting go and trusting our subconscious mind can lead to better results than straining and stressing. In essence, the more you try, the less you do. This is the paradox of trying, the intriguing twist in the tale of our mental workings and the heart of the law of reversed effort. How can we use this seemingly paradoxical law to our advantage? That's the question on everyone's lips right now. And trust me, there's an answer. To harness the law of reversed effort, we need to change our approach to our goals. Firstly, let's talk about mindfulness. Being mindful is about being fully present in the moment, fully engaged in whatever we're doing at the time. It's about perceiving the world directly, without the filter of our thoughts. When we're mindful, we're not trying to force anything, we're just observing and accepting what is, and that's a perfect example of the law of reversed effort in action. Next, we need to embrace the art of letting go. This means releasing our tight grip on our desires, our goals, our dreams. It doesn't mean giving up on them, no. It means trusting that things will unfold as they should, without us needing to force them. It's about giving up control, which can be scary, but also incredibly liberating, which leads us to our next point: trusting our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is great at problem solving, at logic, at rational thought. But it's our subconscious mind that excels at creativity, intuition, and insight. By trusting our subconscious mind, we're tapping into a whole new level of potential. Finally, we can't forget about the importance of practice and repetition. The law of reversed effort isn't something that we can just switch on and off. It's something that we need to practice over and over again until it becomes second nature. It's about training ourselves to approach our goals with a sense of ease rather than with force. So, to harness the law of reversed effort, we need to be mindful, to let go, to trust our subconscious, and to practice. It sounds simple, but it can be incredibly powerful. And remember, it's not about trying harder, it's about trying smarter. Remember, sometimes less is more. Let's see the law of reversed effort in real-life scenarios. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. When he was a sophomore, he didn't make his high school varsity team. Instead of trying harder and becoming consumed by the goal, he focused on the process, practiced his skills, and embraced the journey. He didn't force the outcome, but let it naturally occur. This is a classic example of the law of reversed effort in action. Now let's bring it closer to home. Think about a time when you desperately tried to remember something, perhaps a name or a specific fact, but it simply wouldn't come to mind. The more you strained your brain, the more elusive it became. But the moment you stopped trying so hard, when you least expected it, the name or fact popped up in your mind. That's the law of reversed effort, right there. Or perhaps you've experienced this while learning a new skill. The more you tried to perfect it, the more mistakes you made. But when you relaxed, stopped overthinking and just let it flow, you found yourself doing it effortlessly. Consider also the story of Thomas Edison, the renowned inventor. He made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. But instead of trying harder each time, he saw each failure as a step closer to success. He embraced the process, learned from each attempt, and eventually, he succeeded. The law of reversed effort can also be seen in the world of health and fitness. Many people who obsess over losing weight and constantly check the scale often find their weight fluctuating. But those who focus on enjoying healthy habits and make them a part of their lifestyle often achieve their goal without the constant struggle. As you can see, the law of reversed effort is not just a theory, but a reality we all experience. So what's the takeaway from the law of reversed effort? Let's encapsulate our journey. The law of reversed effort is a fascinating concept, a paradox that can be a game changer in our lives. It teaches us that sometimes, the harder we try, the less we succeed. It's not about reducing our efforts or becoming complacent. Rather, it's about finding that sweet spot between striving and surrendering. It's about understanding that overexertion can often lead to counterproductive results, and that there's a profound power in letting things unfold naturally. Balance is key. In the dance of life, we must learn to lead and to follow, to push and to yield. This law has the potential to transform not just our personal lives but our professional endeavors too. It advocates for a mindset that marries ambition with acceptance, effort with ease. So the next time you find yourself pushing too hard, remember to take a step back and let the law of reversed effort do its magic.